All right, first off, James Degale versus Stepan Bozic. I thought this was a pretty good performance by James Degale. I thought we saw, in flashes, we saw the best of James Degale in there. Switch hitting, his hand speed is improved to me, right? James Degale's never had bad hand speed, but to me, his hand speed is improved. I think he's punching more correctly now. I think his power is improving a little bit. I was especially impressed by the solid shots he was throwing to the body, right, to Bozic's body. Very solid shots. He was switching, throwing combinations, putting his punches together beautifully, very fluid. Yeah, I was quite impressed by this performance by Degale. You know, obviously it was a late replacement fighter, you know, opponent. Wasn't the greatest opponent in the world, but he is, you know, a fairly seasoned fighter and he's been around and stuff like that. So, you know, he's not a fool, he's not an idiot. And I was fairly impressed with what Degale did with him. Now, Degale is not a devastating puncher. He's never going to be a devastating puncher, but it obviously helps him to improve his power. He did slap again here and there, right? He was still slapping a little bit, but you can see that he has sat down and deliberately tried to improve his technique, and it is working, right? He was, for the most part, punching more correctly 9 times out of 10, and his power did look better. His punches looked more solid, so I was happy with it. Degale himself said that he's been struggling with some type of knee injury for quite a long time, and he said the knee injury is now cleared up and it's gone. You know, I totally disagree with the Channel 5 crew who are always telling him to get off the ropes. You know, I think that, you know, you look at fighters like James Toney and over the last few years Floyd Mayweather, they incorporate the ability to fight off the ropes as part of their arsenal. You know, I don't think it's a bad thing, James Degale being on the ropes and learning how to defend himself on the ropes. I don't think that's a bad thing at all. You know, I think it's definitely a good thing and it's part of his arsenal because he's going to need it in some fights. You know, he's gonna need it in some fights where he can't beat a guy in the middle of the ring. Maybe he's being outreached, maybe he's being outspeeded or whatever the case may be. And he wants to draw the guy to the ropes and beat him that way. You know, it's better that he learns these kind of skills because James Degale does have the type of ability where he can learn to do those kind of things, where he can learn to fight off the ropes effectively like a James Toney or a Mayweather. You know, I just don't like the pressure people are trying to put on him, like the BBC crew, sorry, not BBC, the Channel 5 crew. Who seem to think that, you know, staying on the ropes is a cardinal sin. I mean, are they living in the boxing dark ages or what? Like, you know, we're in 2013 now. All right, boxing has evolved. People do different things. I mean, even in the 90s, you had, like I said, guys like James Toney, and even, you know, back in the days, Archie Moore days, Muhammad Ali, rope-a-dope and all that kind of stuff. So fighting on the ropes is a tactic which, I mean, I'm not saying you have to use it in every single fight, but it is a tactic that, if you know what you're doing, can be very effective. Do you get what I'm saying? So I don't necessarily mind James Degale fighting off the ropes in spots here and there. I think it's cool, you get me? And I think he's learning his craft while he's doing those kind of things. But in the middle of the ring, he was tattooing Bozic with good shots, fast hands, switch hitting. The one little criticism I would make is I think that James Degale switch hits a bit too much. Yeah, and I think sometimes he gets caught in between stances. Yeah, he gets caught with shots in between stances. I think sometimes he confuses himself a little bit and gets out of position defensively, and he does get caught here and there. But otherwise, you know, his defense was pretty good. He's a slick fighter, and he's talented. He's talented. But like I say, he's never going to be a big puncher, right? Degale's never going to be a devastating puncher, and I don't know. I think he's a very good talent, but I've never been blown away by him, and I'm still not. I still think he's good. I still think he's talented, and he, you know, maybe can pick up a world title, but I don't see him as the same kind of level as Andre Ward, at least not yet anyway, in terms of, you know, skills or potential. I mean, I'm not saying he's at Andre Ward's level now, but I don't even see the potential to get to Ward's level, you know. So I don't know. Obviously Degale wants to fight Froch. Why not, man? Why not? You know, Froch don't want to fight Ward. Ward's the #1 man in the division. So what are you gonna do, Froch? Who are you going to fight? All right, why not face off against Groves or Degale? People say, oh, he'd smash those two to pieces. Well, let's see him do it then. All right, you know, I wanted to see him fight Stevenson. He didn't want to fight Stevenson. He went on and fought a rematch with Kessler, you know, an over-the-hill Kessler. And now what's he going to do? Let's fight Degale. Let's fight Groves. You know what I mean? If you don't want to fight Ward, fight Degale and Groves, man. I ain't got no problem with it. I don't know what exactly Froch wants to do with his career. You know, he says Groves and Degale ain't ready. He says Ward is too boring, or you don't need to fight Ward. I don't know what the hell he's, you know, what this guy's talking about. But he needs to do something with his career, you know. He needs to fight somebody. So we'll see where Carl Froch goes. But yeah, as for Degale, yeah, I mean, the only worry for his career, as far as I'm concerned, is the fact that he's signed to Mick Hennessy. You know, can Mick Hennessy get him the big fights? Can he get him into the positions that, you know, are going to get him into title shots and stuff like that? So that's my only concern with him. You know, at least boxing is now back on Channel 5, though. That is a good thing. So at least Degale will still continue getting exposure. But I sense from some of the post-fight interviews I've seen with Degale that he is a bit frustrated himself with the fact that Hennessy hasn't managed to get him any name opponents. He's been fighting obscure individuals for the, you know, the time he's been with Hennessy. So, you know, we'll see where it goes from here. But I thought it was a decent performance, and he did show his, you know, class and potential in this fight. All right, on to Hughie Fury. Right, Hughie Fury fought a guy called Ladislav Kovarik. All right, this guy was a complete journeyman. All right, so this, you know, at this stage of his career, he's fighting just a bunch of complete journeymen. All right, these guys don't have any type of skills or anything. They're just there to get beaten up. They're just there to be used as human punch bags. And most fighters do this. I'm not really sure how much fighters learn from this type of stuff. I know that they're practicing their moves and they're getting used to being out in front of the crowd and all that kind of stuff. But Hughie Fury was a pretty experienced and accomplished amateur. So I'm not sure how much a guy like him, who was so experienced in the amateurs, I'm not sure how much he's going to learn from, you know, taking on this type of opponent. But either way, he fought this Kovarik guy who looked like, I see someone commented and they said that Kovarik looked like Butterbean's twin brother. And he pretty much did. Kovarik didn't really offer anything. Hughie Fury is a big, tall guy. He's got a good jab. He's got potential. All right, Hughie Fury's got potential, and he looks better than Tyson Fury did at the same stage of his career. I think Hughie Fury has had 5 fights now. He looks better than Tyson did after 5 fights, definitely, because Hughie's at least in shape. Tyson weren't even in shape when he was Hughie Fury's age. So, yeah, he's in shape. He's got a good jab. He moves pretty well. He's pretty fluid with his movement. Good punch variety. Seems to have, you know, decent power on him. So, yeah, he's got potential. I mean, a lot of fighters have come and gone with potential and never made it. So I'm not necessarily saying that Hughie Fury is going to do anything big in boxing, but he has potential there. He definitely has something to work with. Right? He's definitely not talentless or anything like that. He has quite a fluid style, nice movement and all that kind of stuff. His people have definitely got something to work with. So, you know, it was so far so good from Hughie Fury. But until he fights the next level of opposition, maybe British level opposition, we really don't know anything about him at all. You know, other than he looks good against human heavy bags, pretty much. But yeah, on to Chris Eubank Jr. against Tyan Booth. Eubank Jr., you know, I think that Eubank Jr. and his team think that he's better than he really is. You know, and I don't want to be down on him or anything like that, but to be honest with you, like, I know a lot of people have said it, but the guy, he's trying to sit down on his punches. He's trying to hit harder, but he's never going to be a hard puncher. This guy's always going to be a fairly light punching fighter. And when he moves up in class, he's going to find it even more difficult to hurt guys. I mean, he's finding it hard to hurt people at the level that he's fighting now. And he's fighting experienced journeymen at the moment, right? Guys with, you know, 20 fights and 30, 40 fights. He's fought guys like that already, you know, this early in his career. He's only had like, you know, 10 fights, but he's fought experienced journeymen already, you know. And I know a lot of these guys are difficult to knock out, but he's been catching these guys with clean punches. You know, a lot of the times when you fight journeymen, they cover up. You know, you can't catch them with anything clean. They're fighting totally negative. They're not even trying to hit you back. But that hasn't really been the case with Chris Eubank Jr. He's been fighting, you know, he's been fighting journeymen that have been trying to hit him back. You know, he's been fighting journeymen that have been trying to make a fight of it a lot of the time. And he's been catching them clean, but he's been struggling to drop them. He's been struggling to stop them. Obviously, he stopped this guy, Tyan Booth, in the final round. It was a decent stoppage, but again, he lacks the power that his dad had. And, you know, people are going to say I'm harsh for comparing him to his dad. I don't see why. You know, he obviously models his whole style and in the ring in terms of his swagger and his persona. He models it on his dad. He might say that he don't, but he blatantly does. You know what I'm saying? He blatantly does model it on his dad. And you know, he just don't hit as hard as his dad does. Nowhere near as hard. What I would say, I think he's a bit faster than his dad in terms of putting punches together, combination punches and stuff like that. I think he's got shorter arms and he's a bit faster and he's a bit more compact in the shoulder area, and he pulls his hooks in and stuff like that a bit quicker than his dad did. His dad had longer arms, so you know, with longer arms, your hooks and combinations ain't quite as tight. But he just don't have his dad's power at all. And it remains to be seen if he's got his dad's chin. We just don't know. But one thing I can tell you, if you're a guy who don't really hit that hard, at world level, you better have a great defense. Yeah, you better have a great defense, and you better structure your game to win fights around winning on points. All right. Whereas Chris Eubank Jr. is going out there right now and he's trying to get knockouts all the time. Right? He's pressing for knockouts. He's trying to hurt guys when he just don't have power like that. He's just not naturally heavy-handed at all. I mean, I'm not criticizing him for trying to improve his power. You should definitely try and improve your power. But I just think that he'd be better suited to structuring his game around winning on points. You know, in terms of his development as a fighter. I know in terms of exciting the fans and getting people to watch him, the way that he's fighting right now is the best way to fight. But in terms of long-term success in his career, I think he needs to be taught the Bernard Hopkins, you know, method of fighting, or the Andre Ward method of fighting, you know, where it's more technical. Chris Eubank Jr. is trying to be too flashy, and his physical gifts, or his lack of certain physical gifts, don't really lend themselves to the style of fighting that he's currently adopting. You know, that's just my personal belief. So, yeah, that's how I feel about Chris Eubank Jr. I wish him all the best. I ain't trying to be down on him or nothing like that. You know, I hope he goes on to be an amazing fighter. You know, I always wish all fighters the best, man. You know what I mean? I always want to see all fighters make the most out of their ability and, you know, push themselves as much as they can. But Eubank Jr., pretty much like everyone else, I just see the lack of power and his style as being a problem down the line. You know, I think he needs more of a technical style where he relies on beating guys on points rather than trying to be flashy and pushing for KOs and doing all this, you know, showboating and stuff like that. You just don't have one-punch knockout power like that to get away with those kind of things at a higher level. But, you know, I might be wrong. We'll wait and see how his career pans out. But, yeah, man, let me know how you lot felt about this card. How do you feel about Degale, Fury, and Eubank Jr.? Leave your comments in the comment section below. This is Hatman. I'm out.